Do you have dreams yet to be manifested? Would you like to achieve them? Welcome, great soul, to the Transcendance podcast. I am Avital Miller, your guide on this journey into the uncharted territories of manifestation, so we can travel from traditional to transformation, unveiling manifestation mysteries. Today, we embark on a quest to unlock success when conventional tools fall short. If you've ever felt limitations in your ability to manifest, you are in for a treat. Joining us is a very special guest, one of my idols, Robert Raymond Riopel, an expert in unraveling the mysteries of manifestation. Get ready to discover new pathways to your dreams. Robert happens to be one of my favorite mentors and one of the best speakers and trainers I know. He has spoken on the same stage as the Dalai Lama, Richard Branson, F.W. de Klerk, Vishen Lakhiani, the creator of Mind Valley. You will notice his full name, Robert Raymond Riopel, all start with R's, which also represent real, relevant, and repeatable. He wrote a best-selling book called Success Left a Clue, and he has a podcast by the same name. If we are lucky, maybe he'll even give us some of those clues, because he went from having over $150,000 in personal debt to being retired and financially free in 9 months. Robert, would you walk us through how it felt to be in such great debt and what you tried that didn't work and then what worked for you?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. And I'm like, what do you mean great debt? I didn't at the time feel it was great, but looking back at it now, it was one of the best things that could have happened, because at the time I was frustrated. What wasn't working is I was playing the victim role. Why is everybody doing this to me? It's not my fault. It's because of this that we're in this position. And what did work though was taking ownership that, I am the creator, and I can either choose to be in the energy of this is happening to me, or I can choose to be in the energy of now what? What are you going to do about it? And learning and taking practical steps, all of a sudden I felt empowered to say, no, that's not going to be who I am. That's not going to dictate that this is Robert and he's $150,000 in debt and stressed out, because I chose I wanted to be on a different path. And my wife and I, when we made that mental decision, that started everything right there. And that's where the empowerment happened.
So I like this to note here. The mental decision was, I'm choosing to be on a different path and have a different identity and take ownership.
Yes.
Love this. Yeah. And I performed a survey with my friends and clients on manifestation, career success, having a romantic partner, and feeling inner contentment were both the things that people desire the most and find the hardest to achieve. Whether it's these goals or other goals, what 3 clues come to mind to help people manifest those dreams?
Well, and I'm going to say this right off the top, though, Avital, is that, one of the biggest reasons people aren't content is because even as good as they have it, their mind goes, there's got to be something more. So one clue, and I'm going to give you a couple bonuses. One clue is actually understand that where you are is perfect on your journey, and look for what's going great in your life and put your focus on that. And then I'm going to use kind of the analogy a good friend and a mentor of mine uses. He said, manifestation is like going through the drive-through at McDonald's. Think about it. When you first pull up to the speaker, you've actually got to speak clearly what you want. If you want a double cheeseburger, you got to ask for a double cheeseburger. Because if you want a fillet of fish and you order a double cheeseburger, you're going to get the double cheeseburger. So you've got to speak clearly what you truly want. The second step is you actually have to move towards your goal. You have to pull up to the next window. Most people go, but it's law of attraction, it should come to me. No, it's a two-way street. You've got to move towards your goal. Third step, once you get to the window, you have to pay for it, which means you need to exchange something of value for what you say you want. Right now, North America is in entitlement mode. Give me, give me, give me. No, you got to be willing to exchange something of value if you truly want something. And then the fourth thing, when you get to the next window, what do? They hand you your order. If you're not willing to receive that order, you have to be willing to receive what's coming your way. And if it's not the order you placed, ask yourself, was I clear at the beginning? Or can I make an adjustment now? and ask for what you want. So these are 4 steps. So ask for what you want, be clear with it, move towards what you, towards your goal, be willing to exchange something of value, and then receive what's coming your way.
This is beautiful. I love that analogy. And also that it's cyclical. Because if you receive the thing that wasn't really what you wanted, was the wrong meal at McDonald's, then you go back to start and say, was I really clear about what I wanted?
Exactly.
And I love also how you're talking about where you are is perfect. And this really gets into the concept of contentment. And how do we find a perfect balance between being content and going for our ambitions?
Well, here's what I'm going to say. Most people, in my experience, they think that content or that balance is perfect. Everything's just totally in line. And that's some of the biggest load of crap out there, because that's not how energy works. Energy is always changing, frequencies and vibrations. So what I've noticed, and I went through this the hard way. Look, everything I've learned, Avital, I learned from making a lot of mistakes, a lot of learning curves, right? And so what I've learned is balance is actually this. Everything's always in change. So balance is adjusting. So contentment comes from that saying, everything happens for a reason. And most of your listeners, I guarantee they've heard that. But I also guarantee they don't realize that's only half the actual statement. And it blows my mind how many people don't even know the last half. Do you know what the last half of that statement actually is?
Tell me.
It's everything happens for a reason, and that reason is there to serve me. See, when you understand this fully, all of a sudden, if something, even if it's crappy, happens in your life, and instead of playing the victim, you go, okay, if everything happens for a reason and that reason's there to serve me, what's a lesson I can take from this? Now that puts you into curiosity mode, which is a huge part of manifestation, actually being curious. And then you may not get the answer right away, but if you have that curiosity, it might be years later down the road, all of a sudden you go, that's why that happened. And look how it's enhanced my life.
Beautiful. I love how this reminds me also of the question asking, what is trying to happen? So there's this connection and combination of, okay, this happens for a reason, but even before the reason before you take action is figure out what is that reason and tune into what's going to be your guide post.
Right. And take a look at your name. Instead of just waiting for transcendence to happen in your life, why not transcend dance with it? That's how you learn to make the new steps, is you have to be willing to participate with it instead of it just coming to you.
I love it. This is a dance that is part of the word transcendence. Thank you so much for bringing that in. Bonus question for you. I, on Instagram a couple of days ago, saw this great quote, "You are always manifesting." So, because we're all concerned, oh, I'm not a great manifester and I don't know how to manifest. I'm not manifesting what I want. We're always manifesting. We're breathing. Our body is functioning. That's always happening. What do you think is in our control and not in our control?
Well, first of all, get rid of the word control, because that just puts pressure on yourself. Be willing to be accepting of what's going on in your life. And I'll tell you, just before our interview, I read a beautiful quote by Bruce Lee, where he said, think of the power of the words that you even say about yourself, because your body doesn't know the difference between truth and falseness. And so if you are belittling yourself, that energy goes into the cells of your body, and you're either attracting what you want or you're attracting what you don't want. And it's, I butchered his quote, of course, but basically your words have power. That's why when you're writing, and you talk about it, it's all about that power of spelling. You're casting a spell on yourself. That's why they call it spelling. So what words are you spelling into your body? Are you empowering yourself, or are you beating yourself up? Because you're casting that spell on yourself all the time.
Thank you. I love the correction of the wording there and reformatting that. You really just tuned into what is the essence behind manifestation, and how can we create that balance between the contentment in the moment, between what's really going to feed our soul, what is trying to happen, and how to actually make that happen. Get to that second window and receive that cheeseburger or filet, whatever it is that you're wanting. Thank you so, so much, Robert.
Oh, thanks for having me anytime.
As our journey together comes to a close, I want to express my gratitude for joining us on this transformative dance of life. Transcendance is more than a podcast. It's a community that you are an integral part of. I am Avital Miller, your guide and galactic experiences creator, as we awaken boundless energy, absolute happiness, and true success. For a free gift, visit www.freegiftfromavital.com, where you can join our virtual Sit and Succeed community to connect your desires to reality one step at a time. Thank you, cherished listener, for being a part of this transcendence. Please share this rhythm with others so we can all transcend together.